at me.
I'm over here.
My top right.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you.
Hi.
Hi.
But
All these cousins. I don't know everybody. Wow. Hello, Winnipeg.
Hi.
I can see you all. Great.
Bunny, you have Larry, Christine, and Thor.
Bonnie just joined.
Larry, Thor, and Christine. Yes.
That's John.
can you stop, please? Stop grabbing me.
Where's John?
Lower. And Charlie, you're still in Tennessee?
Yeah, I am just heading out for a little bit. I think
Keep
Austin
on
is finally ready to be returned.
Glad to see you have power.
What's that?
You have power. You have electricity.
Yeah, no, it is good. Yeah, Maria said that the electricity never went off there, but they went without water for about four days. But it sounds like it just came back on.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's pretty much a disaster. The city estimated they lost like 300 million gallons of water from broken pipes.
And where did it all go?
Just back into the ground, I guess.
Oh, no flooding?
I mean, there was like street flooding from like broken mains. I mean, there may have been some flooding. I don't know, but it was. I think the main issue was that the houses weren't getting water.
Okay.
But it seems like things are kind of warming up and it's getting back to normal. So
You didn't have any damage in your house?
not that we're aware of yet, but hopefully no.
I heard huge electrical bills though.
Yeah, I took mine off of auto pay just so I didn't suddenly pay one that I didn't expect. But yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to see. I think some providers are going to handle that differently. So hopefully ours will either swallow some of it or like amortize it. Let's see. I'm gonna get the slideshow going.
Gotta move up to Winnipeg. Then you're gonna get. At least we have the opportunity of having either electrical heat or hydros
Or gas, yeah.
or gas, yeah.
Yeah, we had minus 52, minus 42 ambient, and with the wind chill, minus 52 degrees. That was about 10
Wow.
days ago. And today it's minus 3, so it's balmy. We're breaking out the shorts, lawn chairs, golf clubs. No, we still have a lot of snow.
That's crazy. Is that Celsius or -3 Celsius?
Minus 3 Celsius, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite warm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see here.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, how's it going, Robin?
Hey, you're the technical guru, I'm sure. I'm on my iPhone. How can I see everybody all at one time? Any clue?
I don't have an iPhone. Vicky and Ralph, do you guys have any thoughts on that, or anyone else with an iPhone? Diana, maybe?
If you swipe, you have to swipe. You'll only be able to see 4 people or 3 people at a time, and you'll just have to
her
swipe.
sister, theirs has got mute too.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. That
yeah.
worked. Thank you.
There. You know, a lot of people are on mute. You might want to check it. You got the little microphone at the bottom left of your little screen. Okay.
If you're on mute, then they can't hear you.
No,
Sometimes we do that on purpose because kids are in classes and make a lot of noises.
I also said
Hello,
it,
everybody.
hello. I also set it to auto mute everyone on joining, just so we don't have any accidental like weird conversations. But yeah, everyone should at least get familiar with where the mute button is. Guess we can.
Come on.
I'm getting up close to read everybody's name. Okay.
Okay, I guess we can get started in a minute. Yeah, so one thing, if you guys want to start this, right now we have I posted a little slideshow that we made of pictures of Chris in the chat. So if you guys want to find that in Zoom chat, you can just have that going. If you're on a computer, you can have it going on your browser, or you want to look at it afterwards. I can also send out that's like a presentation of a Google slideshow, so I can send out the slideshow later as well.
I would like that.
Yeah, so much
Yeah,
there next to us.
Yeah,
Aw.
I don't know how people get in that, different order.
Yeah, and this is also being recorded, so I'll send out a recording. So if you want to say something offensive, just let me know and I'll pause the recording.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But yeah, it's good. Everyone I guess it's good to know that it's being recorded. And also,
That's good to warn people. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
but also I can send it out, or I'll probably upload it to YouTube and send out a link to YouTube if people want to see that later.
Yeah, Diana, she's muted. But maybe she was just talking to Ellie.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are muting on purpose. Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and get started. Yeah, I guess just want to say on behalf of myself and Diana and everyone else, thank you guys for joining. Yeah, this is the family memorial for Chris Camp, also some close friends. But we kind of decided to do 2 memorials, just one. We did one initially kind of for Knoxville people, so we could kind of Knoxville people, and then one for families, so we can not have it go super long and kind of have people sort of with groups that they know. Yeah, I guess a few technical things. If you're not talking, if you could put yourself on mute, that makes things a little easier just with the number of people in the call. And then also make sure you're not on mute when you try to talk, obviously. And then if you can, I guess, be sure to introduce yourself. I think for the most part, we know everyone, but it's good just to have an introduction. I guess also names are on the screen, but it's also just nice to introduce yourself. And then, as I said, there's a slideshow on the right-hand side, or I guess for me, it's on the right hand, but it's in the chat. That's just kind of a slideshow I have running. That link is not going to work forever, so I will also send out the Google Doc that has the pictures in it, but it's just nice pictures of mom. Yeah, otherwise, I guess for the format, I think I was going to say something and then Dinah will say something, and then after that, we can more or less just open it up. Just, feel free to chime in whenever you're ready. There's going to be some awkward pauses, but that's all right. And then, also if you feel you're not super confident and feel nervous talking, that's fine. You don't have to talk. No one's going to judge you either way. If you do want to maybe submit some thoughts or memories of mom, but are kind of too nervous to present them here, you're welcome to send them to Diana or myself. I think Diana is the one who probably sent out the link, so she'd probably be the easiest. And we might, compile those together and have a list. Yeah, that's pretty much it for logistic stuff. So yeah, I guess, I'll start. I guess, I want to say my mom is obviously a very loved person. I loved her very much. Her entire family loved her much. I know all of you guys loved her. I feel like looking back on, her life and looking back on, everything she's done for me, it's always very clear to me that she's always made it a high priority to do everything she can for me and her children, for myself, Diana, and Tina. Looking back, I kind of look back on all the texts I've had on record. I think my phone only has them from like 4 years ago, but all the texts I see from her are just very, very caring texts. She sees something that thinks about me, and she'll message me. I see her like asking about my random little medical issues, even, while she's handling one of the worst medical issues, pancreatic cancer, she's still kind of calling and saying, she's concerned about the weather, or concerned that my knee still hurts, or whatever. So, she's always just kind of thinking about other people, thinking about me. And, she's always made it, but both my parents, my dad and my mom. But, it's just talking about her right now. Obviously, she's always made it a point to kind of provide everything, as many opportunities for me and her, the children, as possible. And, just very caring and loving person. Always kind of thinking about other people. And, she was spent a lot of time on charity. She visited India, just to administer polio vaccines. She went to Seoul, South Korea as part of Rotary. And I know she had other trips, planned that she kind of wished she could have taken, but things happen. But yeah, and then, just looking at the friend, people she knows in Knoxville, and, just seeing how many people, just kind of this network she surrounded herself with in Knoxville, and, all the people that cared for her and obviously loved her, it's just really real tribute for kind of to who she is, and, how she treated other people and how people treated her back. Yeah, and I guess that's all I have. Dinah, do you want to say something, and then maybe we can open the floor after that?
All right. Hi, I'm Diana, and I'm Chris's daughter. And this is my daughter, Ellie. She's 10.
Hi.
And my son, Sean, and my husband, Dana, are on here as well. Sean's almost 6. I just wanted to share a letter that I wrote to my mom recently. And this is what I feel like I would say to her if I could talk to her in person again. Dear Mom, you have been gone for a little over 2 months now. You passed away at home peacefully and free of pain, surrounded by Charlie, Lori, Eric, and me. I'm so glad it could be that way for you. What a gift it was for the 4 of us that we could be with you until the very end. I miss you, Mom. Your smile, your laugh, your hugs, and your I love yous can never be replaced. What I miss the most are our phone conversations. Whether we were talking about my kids, Clemson football, Rotary, or work, it was always the best. Many times one of us would say we had to go, but we would both continue talking anyway. You were the first person I called for advice, and I always felt a million times better after we talked. You were one of the wisest people I've ever known. Now I find myself thinking, what would Mom do as I navigate the challenges of life? I'm able to channel you, which isn't the same as actually talking to you, but it's still reassuring. Even though you aren't with me in body, I know you are always with me in spirit. Thank you for being the very best mom for 36.5 years. Love, Diane. Take out from one of your favorite seafood restaurants. Also, a few weeks ago, got my first tattoo. It's on my left wrist, and it's your signature from a birthday card you gave me. It's absolutely perfect. And here it is. It's kind of hard to see. It's backwards, but it says Mom, and it's in her handwriting. So that's just what I feel like I would say to her if I could talk to her right now. I think it might be a nice idea if everybody introduced themselves, even if you're not going to share a memory, just to kind of talk about, so everybody knows who's who on here, what your name is, how you know my mom. I think that might be a good idea. So
we have everyone do that now and then do the.
I guess just.
Or you're just saying
if not
done if everyone introduce themselves at least once.
Yeah, I guess so. I just feel like, a lot of people don't know each other on here. So I guess maybe if you don't plan on, I don't know. What do you think, Charlie? What's the best way to do that?
I don't know. I think, I'm fine with whatever, but I think, I was just like, were you saying that everyone, like right now we can kind of do like a roll call and everyone can kind of introduce themselves, or just have people introduce themselves as they talk, and then if people maybe.
I don't really know.
I know.
What?
I know.
What's
We're gonna introduce themselves, and then if they want to say something, they can.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Let's do that. So let's just go around and everyone can say hi and just kind of check in and introduce themselves, just so we can kind of everyone can see who else is here, and then we can jump into individual memories.
That sounds good. Okay.
So I think for this, the best way is just have people jump in whenever there's like 2 seconds of silence or whatever.
Okay, I'm at the top of the screen, so I'm Bunny. I'm your mom's cousin, lives in Penticton, British Columbia. And I have nothing but happy memories about your mother. She was just wonderful. Go ahead, next guy. Ruth?
Hi, it's Bob Conconi, and I'm calling from Pender Island. And this was the site of a family reunion. I guess we're going back 15, 20 years ago. And Diane and I last night looked at all our pictures from that reunion. And everybody's faces 15 years ago compared to today. Anyway, all good meetings and all good feelings.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm Chris's sister, and I know almost everybody, and it's great to see all your wonderful faces. And maybe one of these days when the borders open, we can all see each other. So, I have really great memories of Chris. Obviously, I didn't remember life without her, and now she's gone. So just pretty amazing to have such good memories of her and to have such an amazing family and group of friends.
Yeah, and I was Chris's brother-in-law.
Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm her sister as well. It's hard to believe she's not here. I remember we moved to California 2 months before she was due to be born. And it was a decision that was prompted to make a good life here in California for the family. And I think Chris lived that life. She was my birthday present when I was 8 years old. Mom went to the hospital that night, and the next morning Dad came home and said, "You have a new little sister, Jane Christine Thor." I don't think many know that her actual first name was Jane, but that went away a long time ago. I always admired Chris's intellect and heart. She had an interview to be admitted to Stanford, and at that time, because of our dad's treatment at Stanford, she thought she might like to be a doctor. I think she lived that dream when she went to India and did her tending and health giving there, and also all the TLC that she gave to her children, all three of them, over her period of motherhood, very much to be admired. As a grandparent, I'm sorry that Chris isn't going to experience a prolonged relationship with her grandchildren. I think that's one of the biggest losses. Anyway, she was just a wonderful person, had a wonderful brain and a wonderful heart.
Yeah, thank you, Randy.
This is Jerry Nelson, Ruth's husband. And one of the memories I have of Chris is that Ruth and Chris, when they got together, would stay up half the night talking. They always had good conversations.
Great. Well, thank you, Ruth and Jerry. I appreciate that.
So that was lovely. Thank you. I'm Lori. I'm Chris's younger sister, and this is my husband, Eric. And actually, I wrote something, and I'm going to read it, but I don't do very well in these situations.
I'm backup.
So Eric's my backup. Sorry about this. All of you who know me know I just fall apart very easily. So you just better read it. Sorry.
You'll jump in later. Family is very special, and I'm so grateful that we can meet via Zoom today and celebrate Chris. I am the whoops baby my parents didn't plan on having. I was welcomed and loved by Ruth, Vicky, and Chris. I'm 6 years younger than Chris. She was very kind and protective of me, even though I know I was often a pest and by all accounts, cried a lot when I was little, and now I'm added that. When I was in kindergarten, Chris was in the 6th grade, and she visited me a lot in the kindergarten yard. I was so proud that she was my sister. As we grew older, even though I was younger than her, she treated me as an equal. Vicky, Chris, and I all had our children around the same time, and we had a lot of fun together when they were young. We all lived in Southern California.
I'm going to try now, see if I can get my act together. Chris was always very smart. She had a very quick intellect. Our dad was so proud that she went to Stanford. And her quick intelligence gave her a wicked sense of humor, and this continued even when she was so sick. Like our dad, Chris's feet got hot when she slept. I bet you a lot of you did not know that. So when tucking her in for the night, she often had her feet sticking out, which reminded both of us of an old Popeye cartoon featuring sleeping hillbillies with their enormous feet and their long beards rolling up and down as they snored. Chris, living in Tennessee, immediately joked, "My people." We laughed so hard and blessed our cousin Karen for finding that cartoon online and sending it to us. Several times when I was with her as she was undergoing chemo, we doubled over in laughter when she said her wisps of blonde hair made her look like a Muppet, because it would just go like Cindy Lou Who, you know, up, straight up. It's very sweet. But even then, Chris was beautiful. Her beauty is for all of us to see in this photo slideshow that Charlie prepared. Thank you, Charlie. But she never seemed
never seemed aware of how beautiful she was, and that made her even more special. Chris always had a strong work ethic. When she was a high school student, she was a natural leader in various organizations and clubs, and she played bridge even then. We worked together for Professor at Stanford when she was a student there and I was in high school. That was my first job, and I learned a lot from her about what it meant to work hard. Chris loved her job at Denark. She also really enjoyed Rotary and appreciated the opportunity to lead the Farragut Club and travel the world to Korea and India.
All of this is not to say that Chris did not have a life without ups and downs, but she had great strength and resiliency to handle the challenges life handed her. Our dad lost his health in the 60s, and our parents had huge financial challenges that affected all of us. Our dad died in 1969 when Chris was a college freshman. When Chris and Dave's first child, Tina, was born, they had no idea she had Down syndrome, yet they handled that challenge and lifelong commitment with great grace and love. It hit all of us
very hard when our mom died in 2003. And of course, worst of all was her devastating pancreatic cancer diagnosis in 2019.
After Chris and her family moved to Knoxville in the mid-1990s, we didn't see very much of each other for many years. We were busy raising our families. We saw each other at big family events, weddings, funerals, and family reunions at Bob's. After our kids were grown, Vicki and I traveled with Chris to the Pacific Northwest, and we visited our Auntie Vi and her children and Chris's friend, Marianne. Hi, Marianne. We all had great times together. Chris was very private about her health. She shared the details of her diagnosis and treatment with very few people. In a very odd way,
Chris's illness was actually a gift to me, as we renewed our sisterly bonds when I came to stay with her as she was undergoing treatment. I was always happy when she took that big sister role and became a little bossy, as big sisters sometimes do. Then I knew she was feeling better. Chris showed such grace under tough circumstances. Even as she took cancer treatments and recovered from serious infections, she kept her sense of humor, worried about her family, was concerned that everyone was being taken care of at her job, and really missed her Rotary friends.
I am so impressed with Charlie and Diana and how they've handled the very sad loss of their mom. I cannot thank you enough for all the love and support you gave her.
And for organizing this Zoom.
She loved that Charlie and Marie are engaged.
Love, Lauren.
Oh, thank you, Lori and Eric. One thing to remind, my internet connection is not perfect, so the video recording might also have some choppiness in it. But just something to let you guys know. Yeah, thank you, Lori and Eric. I appreciate you sharing. Maybe we'll just jump. I think we're going to do the introductions. Let's just jump into sharing, and people that already did introductions can obviously come back when they want and share. But I think it makes just the most sense to do that. So if whoever wants to share can just kind of jump in next.
My name is David Camp. Chris and I were married for 40 years. And as you've already been told and know, we raised 3 beautiful children together. Chris was a wonderful mother to our 3 children at their various ages. And in a way, Tina was the easiest. But I think we were good parents together, and I'll always revere that memory. And Chris was the ultimate accounting executive. I remember when we were first married, I was studying for the CPA exam, and she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do. She thought she'd go into nursing, and she was going to try that. But then we got started talking about accounting. So she went back to school very early on there. We got an MBA at Santa Clara University. And she got her first accounting job, which was just a low-level clerk. And over the years, she worked her way up until she became vice president and chief financial officer of Denark Construction here in Knoxville, a big construction company. They had many problems, and financial problems was one of them. And I remember when Chris would come home and we'd talk about it quite a bit. I don't know if I came up with any good suggestions, but I heard her thinking, and the company did turn around and turned around probably 2 or 3 years ago. So she was there during the worst times. She was revered by her 2 bosses. She treated people very well, and she got a lot out of them as well. And that's a tough balance to hold. And she was revered by her subordinates and other employees.
That sounds like a shoe-in for me to start. My name is Robin Chambers, and I live in Knoxville. And I worked with Chris at Denark. Actually, when we hired her, I believe it was 2004. I had already been there since '92, but I was leaving like 2 weeks later and moving to New Mexico. So we were kind of ships that passed there for a couple of days, and then we didn't see each other until I moved back to Knoxville in 2013. And when she found out that I was back in town, she asked me to come and interview for HR position, which I knew absolutely nothing about and didn't want to know anything about. But after hanging out with her for about 2 hours, she convinced me to give it a whirl and assured me that she would, she was going to be my boss and that she would teach me, and she knew what I needed to know, and she would translate that to me, and she did. We worked together until I left Denark a couple of years ago and went to work for one of that CEO's other companies, but we've remained friends. And I posted on Facebook not too long ago that, she is the voice in my head every day still. I'm still doing HR, and everything she taught me, which was, mostly just about really being consistent and checking and double checking. And she always amazed me with her brain and her mind. And of course, numbers was her thing, and it was absolutely not mine. Somehow she pulled me into helping out with some accounting stuff at Denark too before I left there. But she could convince me to do things sometimes, but she amazed me with her brain. She was so smart. And she is still the voice in my head. I hear her giving me direction every single day, and I guess I always will as long as I do HR. And she took me to my first UT basketball game, even though, I'm from here and she wasn't. Took me to a wine tasting at the Rotary, and we had a great time. And she was a good friend, and I hated when she got sick, and I would go over and try to help out when I could. She was very private about things. And then the stupid virus came along, and I was scared to death to be anywhere near her because, it's just so dangerous in her condition. And so I did not get to see her anymore after, I guess it was last March. I never felt safe to go back over there and take a chance, on making her sick with something else that she just didn't need. We would talk occasionally, and I know she loved being able to finally see the kids, the grandkids. But I miss her terribly, and she was a great person and just super smart. Got great kids. I'm glad you guys invited me.
Thank you for joining. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate you sharing.
Well, I'll jump in if no one else will. I'm Claire. Van Skyver is my maiden name. Chris and I were high school buddies, and I think Jill Randisi is on this call too. I think I saw her. And the three of us were really good friends in high school. And after we all graduated from college with liberal arts degrees, we became unemployed together. Ended up getting, kind of low-level jobs and living in an apartment in Mountain View for a year together. And that was really great fun. I have so many memories of Chris. I wouldn't even know where to start, but I'll just tell you a funny story because this is our high school yearbook. And Chris and I were kind of full of ourselves when we were seniors because, we'd taken physics together and, algebra 2 and all this kind of stuff. And we were like ready to be out of there. We didn't have much respect for the whole thing. So we decided what we would do is whenever there was a call on the PA system for certain club members to show up to have their group photo taken, like, wood shop or the chess club or work experience, whatever it was, the two of us would go and we'd be in the back. And some of the funniest pictures in this yearbook, you can see the kids in there and there's Chris's head kind of peeking around the corner. Like she knew she wasn't supposed to be there, but there we were. But anyway, we both took German together. Chris ended up being a foreign exchange student during college. And so she really perfected her German. And I had the great privilege of having my husband go over there while he was on active duty. So I got to live in Germany for 5 years. And whenever Chris and I would get together, we'd, brush it off and, speak a little bit of German together. I didn't know about Chris's diagnosis until March this past year when I called to check on her and she told me. And, I was just devastated because I knew what that meant. And when I spoke with her, she was just getting ready to go back to work. So she was feeling pretty good. But I'll miss her terribly. We saw each other on and off over the years pretty often. My husband and I would be in Knoxville and drop in to see them. Last time I was up in, I forget where I was going, to the Smoky Mountains somewhere. I tacked on a couple of days. It was a couple of years ago, and Chris and I hung out, and that was fun. She was just a really good, warm, bright, beautiful person. And my brother and I were particularly good friends with her. My brother just passed away 10 days ago from brain cancer. So, it's been a crummy year so far these past few months. I mean, both of them they're too young to have died, and but their spirit lives on. And anyway, I'm very grateful to have known Chris.
All right, thank you, Claire. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your brother.
Hi. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's kind of a free for all, but if someone just wants to go, we'll just kind of talk over each other a little bit, but someone just go ahead.
I can jump in, just so you know what my name is up there. So Chris was my first cousin. My dad, Larry Goodmanson, was brother to Mom, Solveig Thor, and her maiden, Solveig, of course, her maiden name was Goodmanson. So yeah, first cousin, and I live up here in Victoria, BC, Canada, and Chris was a few years older than me, so I was kind of the, just a little bit out of that age range where we kind of connected at the, family reunions or when we were quite young, and so separated by time and distance, but I always remember her as a very beautiful California girl who was very gracious, graceful, and when we did speak later at the family reunions, it was lovely to talk with her. And I just, like to thank everybody who shared their tributes of her so far. So thanks and love you all.
I don't know if you can hear me. This is Mary Ann Kelly, and I met Chris when she was at Stanford. We were at Stanford. I was working there, and she was a work study student. are you gonna do this weekend? Oh, it's my birthday, so it's mine. So we share the birthday, and on the 23rd, I'll be thinking of her. We were roommates off and on for 2 or 3 years. I was really happy that Vicky and Lori could come and visit with me a couple of years ago. That meant a lot. And it's good to see you guys. Dave, hi, and all you guys. I'm thinking of you.
Okay, thank you, Margaret and Marianne.
Hi, I'm Christy.
Is it that's frozen for everyone, right? Or is it just me?
I think for everyone.
Okay. Yeah, Christy, I think you're frozen right now, so maybe we'll come back to you guys.
Well, we'll chime in. It's the Goodmanson clan in Winnipeg, Canada. I think we're directly, hello, Margaret. Love all your posts and all your pictures, Margaret and Jimmy. They're absolutely fantastic.
I love all the pictures you posted, Jim, today. Or I finally logged on to Facebook and saw all the wonderful family pictures of years gone by.
We were a little younger back then. But it's funny how we can still recognize Bob Conconi. He's, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. I think I might have been one of the youngest ones, but there was Margaret and Kathy. So it's Larry and Christine. And, you know, I have to take my hat off to our cousin Bob for hosting the reunions. And bringing all the cousins.
Oh.
Bringing all the cousins together, it was just fantastic. And I always used to marvel at the Thor girls were coming. I don't know, maybe it's the name. But anyways, I always felt a special connection. So our dad and Chris and we were brother, and I don't know if I was the only one of us kids, but when the family all lived up in Flin Flon, and I remember all the aunts moved to California or Vancouver and Victoria, and Uncle Larry moved to Brentwood Bay, and we moved to Winnipeg. And you would kid my dad, say, "What happened? Were you out delivering newspapers or something?" And they came back, "Yeah, you got Winnipeg Herald." Anyways, I really hope that this memorial for Chris has brought us back together as family. And if there's an opportunity for us to meet once this coronavirus is over, I think we should all jump on that because we're not getting any younger. Anyways, love you all. And I know our mom is still with us. She's 88, and I know she's 89. Sorry,
She'll be 90 this year.
90 this year. Wow.
Yeah.
She loves the fact that we can share these kind of Zoom conversations with her, and to know that you know, we can share her love for everybody. So, from the Goodmansons in Winnipeg, in the flatlands of Canada, we love you all. Thanks very much for allowing us to be part of this day.
Yeah, thank you guys. That's Thor, Chris, and Larry, correct? All right, thank you for sharing. Christy, do you guys want to give it another shot? I think your video froze last time.
I'll just be quick. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Miss your mom terribly. Wish I got to see her more later on, but life got busy, and glad to see everybody.
Okay, we're glad to see you as well, and thanks for sharing. I like the Stanford shirt, by the way, too. Shirts.
Completely coincidental. They dressed themselves, didn't even know they were matching either.
Nice. it's an omen or something, a message from mom, maybe. But okay, whoever wants to go next.
Okay, I'll go. Annalise, this is my daughter Kez.
husband Chris went to go grab something from the kitchen. And Annie Christie was just an amazing, lovely human. And I have so many incredible fond memories from funny parades with Diana and Charlie and Mark and John at the house in Thousand Oaks. Lots of Thanksgivings all together with everyone up at Uma Solveig Thor's house. Gosh, cousin Bob, the reunions are things that I feel so special and grateful that so many of us on this call were all together on Pender Island, and how magical those times were. And wonderful moments at weddings together as we all got older. And I think when I think of Annie Christie, I think of her laughing. And I think it's been talked about, just her sense of humor and her wit was a wonderful to be around. So love her and love everyone on this call.
I'll jump in. Hi, everyone. I just think when I was reflecting on Annie Christie, a lot of it came back to those early years when everyone was in California, and especially those Thanksgivings and those memories. And I really have strong memories of Tina and just how kind and loving, in addition to all the cousins. And it was just really great to grow up with cousins and have that connection early in our years. And I know that those relationships are still strong. And as was mentioned, it's a tragic, obviously, event. But as long as the dialogue continues through the family, I think it's really important. And I think I was lucky. I went to Knoxville twice in high school, which is kind of random from being from Los Angeles. One of those was with Scott when we visited Charlie. Had a good 2 weeks there. And then I vividly remember I did a community service trip in like rural Appalachia, and we stopped in Knoxville with me and some of my high school friends from LA. I just really remember sitting down because Annie Christie hosted me and my friends, and I think, you know, there was a real sense of she talked to me at like as a 16 or 17-year-old as like a fully functioning person. And you know, I think like that meant a lot to me. Is like, you know, we just sat down and we just had like a very, very honest talk, and it was just the two of us. I don't know where my friends were or where Charlie was at this time, but we were just at that kitchen table. And I think that really meant a lot to me. Is just like, you know, someone who has family, who I love, who, you know, there is a aunt-nephew relationship, but it was really like a very honest, open conversation about just like life and how you're doing. And I think that respect is like something that everyone has seen from her. And so I think those are my most powerful memories of just growing up and then being able to see her a couple times. And then a random memory, I feel like she was the first person that I ever knew that liked Starbucks. Like, I think we were in Vancouver for one of these relationships. And I was like, she really likes Starbucks. Like, this is like a new thing. And I wasn't really aware that it was going to be this huge thing, but she was like early in on Starbucks. So, you know, just obviously super sad overall, but a lot of pleasant memories. And, you know, those family times early in my life really are important and great. So definitely sad, and she'll be missed, but it is good to talk to everyone and see everyone.
Thank you, Mark.
Figure I'll jump in. I'm John. So brother and sister Mark and Annalise, and obviously Chris is my aunt. Obviously super sad circumstances that we're all gathered here, but it's been incredible hearing all these stories and learning so much about my aunt, that, you know, filling in little details about her life that I didn't know. I think it's like why being able to share is so cool. I was definitely a little younger when Chris and the family lived in Thousand Oaks, so I don't necessarily have all of those memories super strong, but what I do remember was a lot of fun. I do remember getting dressed up by cousins and sister and brother and everything, and I'm sure I loved it. She wanted to be part of it. But I also remember when the family moved out to Tennessee, pretty awesome, like trips we had out there, seeing everybody and spending time together. And yeah, I guess just like, this is a super specific thing, but kind of Mark mentioned it, that, you know, keeping like the dialogue open now that, you know, in sort of like celebration of her and how important she was to bring people together to keep this closeness alive. You know I'm going to keep playing video games with Charlie and Scott and Mark. as much as possible. So, you know, a weird aside, but something I value. So yeah. And this is Caitlin, my girlfriend. It's maybe a little confusing that that's actually her name coming up and not mine. Didn't think about that. But that explains it all.
Well, thank you, John. We also have lots of video reminders of your time in Thousand Oaks if you want to see them.
Good. I need those.
Some have you naked 1-year-old walking around. So, but all right. Well, thank you for sharing.
I'll go. Hi, my name is Brian. I am Auntie Chris's nephew. Auntie Chris was always really kind to me. Every time I saw her, really interested, genuinely interested in what was going on with my life. My fondest memory of Auntie Chris was she facilitated my first trip away from home without my parents. Me and my friend Jerry were in middle school and we were into mountain biking, and she facilitated this trip where we took the train, just he and I, down from the Bay Area down to Thousand Oaks and stayed with Auntie Chris and Uncle Dave and everybody for a week and mountain biked in the area around them that had just burned through with a forest fire. And, you know, a little bit of a rite of passage for us, but made it like safe and fun and a little bit of Disneyland in there too. But I always felt like she really cared about me when I saw her. Charlie and Diana, thanks for facilitating this today. Well done.
All right, thank you, Brian. Appreciate you joining.
Hi, I'm Anne Marie. I met Diana in high school, so we've known each other probably, I think, 21 years now. And your mother was just such a warm, wonderful, and beautiful person, and I know she'll be greatly missed. It was just, you know, heartbreaking to go through the diagnosis and hear of your loss. And I'm thinking of you, and I really appreciate you having me here today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Anne Marie.
I guess I'll hop in. My name is Bonnie. Chris was my aunt. I'm her niece. I can't remember her not being in my life. Diane and I were born 4 months apart. She was like a second mom, like everyone else is, you know, kind of said. We share a somewhat special bond, you know, because we are niece and aunt. But we were both in an organization called Job's Daughters, which is a Freemason organization for young girls. And when you do reach a certain point in this organization, you have a ceremony. Her ceremony was entitled Reach for the Best. And inside it also had a poem that inspired Reuter Thor, her father, to move from Canada to California. Excuse me, I kind of take on Annie Laurie and I kind of have this, you know, we're post sensitive, but that always stuck with me. The poem was called Yonder is a Star. And it was always about reaching for the best and not looking at the little things and always looking at the bigger picture. I also use that in my installation in Job's Daughters. And it just, that's how she lived her life. She always told me to live my life. I was going to go out and visit her last year. However, she said, live your life. You're in your prime. Live your life, Bonnie. And I can't thank her enough for that. I have a really fond memory that keeps popping in was right after we moved back to California from Maryland, Annalise, Diana, and I went to a horse camp in the Sierra Nevadas. And I have to say that that car ride was so much fun, and staying in Reno together. And then, you know, she was our guardian. It was so much fun. And that was that's a huge memory for me. Also her coming out to Maryland when we lived there. Yeah, she was always just a sense of logic and yeah, I don't think I'll ever not miss her. I am sure that she is with all of us right now, and she's somewhere with Solveig and Reuter in Valhalla, maybe. I'm so glad that all of you are here. I love my family so incredibly. And all the words you're saying about her is just amazing. And I'm in Portland, Oregon right now. And I can't wait for when the Canadian and American cousins can all get back together. That's just going to be such an amazing celebration, and she will be there. I know. So that's all I have to say. So thank you, and I'm just so glad everyone's here.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, I actually encountered that poem multiple times going through her papers, so it's kind of nice to hear some more history behind it.
All right, I'll go next. There's a bit of a cousin theme going on right now, or niece and nephew theme. My name is Kristen Weitz, and this is my daughter, London. And we live in Southern California, and I am Auntie Chris's niece. And even though we're not genetically related, Lori and Bonnie, I am kindred with you guys with being emotional, so bear with me. But I have a ton of great memories growing up, visiting Auntie Chris and the rest of the family. One year I went down and spent a week with them in Thousand Oaks and visited, and I just have really great memories from that and holidays together. And then when I was in high school, we moved to Georgia. And so we were spending time nearby, and we would visit. And our grandmother lived in Knoxville. And so we would, spend a lot of time together. Sorry. Mind of her own. And, but I wanted to share that the biggest thing that I learned from Auntie Chris is you can be a mom and you can also work. And you can climb the corporate ladder and you can do what you want to do professionally, and you can still raise a family. And that's truly one of the biggest things that I've learned from her over the years, because I want to do both. I want to be a mom, and then I also want to be a professional and climb the corporate ladder. And I continue to do that in my field of speech therapy. And I'm proud to do that. And I'm proud that she taught me that way, taught me to do that by demonstrating it and by showing me that you can do all of those things and you can rock all of those hats. So that's just been really special for me. And it's wonderful to see everyone. A lot of people I have not seen or, heard your names in many, many, many decades. So it's just really neat to see, it's a sad reason that we're all coming together, but it's really wonderful that we can spend time together and celebrate and honor her.
Thank you, Kristen.
My name's Gretchen. I am Auntie Chris's niece. I have so many great memories of her. I remember going down to Thousand Oaks when we were little and visiting. And one of the biggest things that I really remember was that I was probably, 6 or 7. And I remember having a conversation with her where she treated me like an adult. Somebody else mentioned this earlier, but she didn't treat me like I was 6 or 7 years old. I remember talking to her like I was talking to somebody, that respected what I was saying and really listened and was really interested. So that I always thought was great. She was always very, very kind. I remember her smile, her laugh. She was just always so kind and so positive. I believe the last time I saw her, I went and visited in Knoxville, and it was, I can't remember who all was there, But I remember we all sat around the table and talked until probably 2 o'clock in the morning, just reminiscing and laughing and just having a great time. So she was just always so positive and was always interested in what I was doing, and was just a special soul. She was very, very special. So, and also thank you, Charlie and Diana, for putting this on.
Thank you, Gretchen. And thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Scott Cornarens. I'm here with my parents, distance across, and also my girlfriend, Maddie, for emotional support. When we moved back from Maryland when I was young, there was a couple really great years where all the Thor sisters, Emma, we were all in California, and it was some of the best formative years of my life. You get to spend time with your cousins. It felt like every weekend, and really just incredibly special. You know, those times faded. You know, we didn't, you know, life gets busy. You know, people pass away, people move away, but I did thankfully get to spend many good summers with Annie, Chris, Charlie, Uncle Dave, Diana, Tina, and it was always just something I really look forward to. And, you know, when Charlie moved to California in the early 2010s, or I don't even remember when it was now, but we were both in college in the Bay Area, and it was a wonderful time because I got to see Charlie, you know, pretty much every month. So, you know, to Annie, Chris, early on in my life when I was visiting in Tennessee, you know, my mom gave me a budget when I was out there, and I wanted to buy some sort of race car, and Annie Chris was like, you know what? You know, this RC car, it's, you know, it's this much of your budget. Let me like lay it out for you, and the pros and cons to you buying this right now. So, you know, moving on later into my life, I've essentially gone into accounting. I teach accounting at my job, and, you know, Annie Chris, I don't think maybe accounting wasn't like her first love or her first thing that she was going into for her career, but, and I would say the same thing about myself. And it's always just, it was really nice talking with Annie Chris back in November about her career and where she went and how she felt at different ways along the path. And it really inspires me to move forward in my career. And Annie Chris is something that's really inspirational to me. So she'll always be in my heart, and I love you all. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Scott.
Can I share a funny story?
No, funny story time is over.
Okay, so when we lived in Southern California, let's see, I was about 9 or so, and I had to get these Converse All-Stars, and I just absolutely was determined to get them. And, you know, my mom was working hard. She was working probably 50, 60 hours a week, and I'm sure that was the last thing she wanted to do. But being amazing like she was, I remember she drove me around to like every shoe store. And so we didn't find the Converse, unfortunately. And we're at this red light, and I'm in the back seat griping and complaining. And she turns around, she whips her head around and goes, "You know what, Diana? Sometimes life isn't a bowl of cherries," like screamed at me. And she said the real word too. Like she definitely drove that home. So that was like one of the funniest things I think she's ever done. And it actually really, really stuck with me that I need to stop complaining. So I just want to share that funny story.
I need an embroidered pillow with that on there. Ellie, you're getting into sewing, right?
Wait, where are you going?
I love that quote, by the way. I'm Maria. I'm Charlie's fiance, and I'm gonna try to keep it short because I cry very easily also. Chris was a very kind, generous, smart person who she always made me feel very included and special. She gave great advice. And she encouraged me to call her whenever I needed to. Many times it was easier for me to talk to her than my own mom. And it was just easier. I don't know why. She just was a really special person. I mean, she even encouraged it when she was going through her illness, and I always felt like my problems were so minor compared to what she was going through, but she was just very kind. I really enjoyed spending several weeks with her in Knoxville at the end of 2019. Charlie and I went for several weeks, and even though it was a sad reason for us to be there, we just had so much fun and watched a lot of movies and ate so much Panera, cream of chicken and wild rice soup. It turned out that was the only food that didn't make her feel sick, so we all ate it every day, like 3 times a day. Just wrote down just a few things that remind me of her and just kind of make me smile when I think of her. And somebody already mentioned this, but Starbucks, every time I'm at Starbucks, reminds me of her. Just traveling, we talked about going to different places, especially with her Rotary work. HC makes me think of her because she used to call or text and say, hey, there's a show on right now and these people are looking for a home in Texas, in Austin. And we learned that there's a special stone called Austin Stone, which we had no idea of. But now every time we see it, we think of her. Jeopardy, other thing. Jennifer Garner, every time I see her, I just crack up. And then just movies and shows. We had the same taste in movies and shows. And a lot of times because of Charlie's nocturnal gaming, he was on the couch when we watch something. And so it really just was me and her watching a lot of movies all the time. So those are just a few things that remind me of her, and I miss her a lot.
I've got I got a Starbucks story too. Chris and I both went to the same Starbucks here in Knoxville, but separately. She would go in the morning, I think. She would get a Starbucks in the morning on the way to work, and she always ordered a double wet venti cappuccino. And she went there so often that she said this, and I believe it, as she was driving up and parking and getting out of her car, they started making her drink for her. She was that consistent. And I went to the same place, but I would go there maybe at lunchtime, maybe in the afternoon, pick up coffee for people in my office. And I ordered different things. But Chris and I both got to know the baristas there, once again, separately. And so I remember one Saturday, Chris and I went into that Starbucks together, and everybody was appalled. They said, "We didn't know you guys were married." So that's it.
Thank you, Dad.
I don't know if
Thank you, Maria, as
you
well.
this.
Sorry.
This is a plaque that Chris made for me. It's needlepoint. And I just looked over, I'm in my office right now, so I don't have Zoom at home. But anyway, I just looked over and I thought, Chris did that for me. It's a needlepoint. So it's been in my office all these years. She was very smart. And I think she challenged all of us, as I guess you guys are all saying. And it was so invigorating to have conversations with her because she would really get their brain going. So she'll be missed.
I just wanted to chime in. Very smart. Chris was just very quick and a great sense of humor. And fortunately, we had some time there in November. We had a lot of family got there before she was near the end. It And I just always enjoyed teasing Chris, and I can be sort of inappropriate in my teasing, and it's Lori and others will attest. But I remember there was one day, you know, very impressive. Before I get to the jokey thing, her Rotary thing was very meaningful to me. My dad was big into Rotary, and so we talked about Rotary. I mean, Rotary was a big part of his life. I always felt bad. I never could figure out how to get into Rotary, and the little club here didn't make it. So we had a Rotary discussion. But I remember one of these nights, you know, we'd been hanging out there in her place. She'd been on the couch the whole day. She had her little spot on the couch, and she sort of says it kind of late. She says, "I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I need to go to bed." And I turned to her, I said, "You just sat in the couch all day. How can you be exhausted? We're running around, you know." And I'm going, I hope. And she just laughed her head out. I mean, it was just a perfect, you know, she loved a good joke. She had a great sense of humor. You know, all four of the Thor gals are quick and fast and have great sense of humor. But I think Chris had that little wicked, fun little sense of humor. She could give it right back to you. I miss her, but it was also, it was very special. We were fortunate to be able to be there for the final, her passing, and boy, that was amazing. And to see Charlie and Diana just rise to occasion, it was one of the more meaningful things in my life. I mean, it was just to see her, just, you know,
It was an amazingly powerful experience. And, you know, I didn't really know much about hospice, and they were amazing. She had some difficulties that weekend, and they made her passing so much more peaceful. They were truly angels, those women, the man and the woman that came.
Yeah, and I think we said, and it was, I wish everyone in this room would have loved to have been there, because not in a weird sort of way, it was very peaceful. Forrest would sit there in a room, and she was probably, things she could hear, you know, and we're laughing, telling jokes, talking to her. It was sort of it was very, I mean, yeah. I think we all feel it was a very.
Literally went from laughing to crying to holding her hand to rubbing her head to, you know, just.
Yeah, it was very special.
Never experienced anything like that. It was very special and very powerful.
No, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say a little something there too. One thing we were all kind of observing is that, you know, well, for a lot of time when we were there with her, you know, it was just kind of talking with her and being, you know, very serious, you know, saying things to her that, you know, we felt she could hear. We don't really know. But it was kind of strange because near the end, you know, we'd kind of been there for a while. It was really like 6 a.m. in the morning, and we were kind of switched to, you know, sharing memories and laughing and kind of just being there. And I think like that was right before she passed, and she kind of had, it was really strange. She had kind of a smile on her face for the last like 10 or 15 minutes. And, you know, we like to think that she kind of finally felt like she was, you know, surrounded by friends and family and was kind of in a happy place, and chose that time to pass. You know, it's hard to know really for sure, but she really did kind of pass away with a happy look on her face. And, you know, we like to think that she knew she was surrounded by family and was happy and, you know, was kind of ready to go. So.
I wanted to share this too, because Chris made this for me in 1976. And you can see the CC on it, where she signed her initials. And she also made me something, Christmas hanging, and it's of Santa Claus, but it's Icelandic style. And I think it says Gott Jul, which I guess is Icelandic for Merry Christmas or Happy New Year or something. Anyway, her work is on my wall 24/7, always thinking about her.
I should weigh in now. I feel badly that I haven't already. I'm Eric, by the way, Aunt Chris's nephew. And it's a bittersweet moment that brings us together here. It's so sad that Aunt Chris is no longer with us in person, but sweet that we're all sort of gathering together. Like Zoom is the new Pender Island, I think, this year. So it's good to see folks sort of gathering and so many familiar faces here. I will say just the memories that I'm hearing, that we're all hearing from Aunt Chris, are so strong. You know, if one says that the soul lives on via memories, Aunt Chris is living on vibrantly, and it's really powerful to see that sort of via all these stories being shared. And personally, whenever I think of Aunt Chris, it's always with great joy. I was looking through old pictures when I heard the horrible news about her passing, and every picture I had of Aunt Chris is, for instance, seeing her right there behind Julie, my wife, as she was being walked down the aisle at our wedding. There she was, just big smile, big sort of knowing smile, if you will, on her face. It's very powerful to see that. And really a lot of the memories here really resonate. I mean, think about the gatherings, the social gatherings that we all have. I have those memories of Aunt Chris. And in particular, I take away just how authentic the conversations I had with her were. Just no BS, just very like get straight to the heart of, hey, Eric, how you feeling? How you doing? What's going on? Just the authenticity that really came through with Aunt Chris. So that's a strong memory of mine. And I'll very much echo that how capable Aunt Chris was too. I'm sort of learning a lot on this call, but really, like when I think of Aunt Chris, she was capable. She was smart as a whip. My sort of lighthearted story is I remember at family reunions, both big and small, playing cards with Aunt Chris. And she was the one who figured out my card playing strategy quicker than most. And by the way, everyone figures it out pretty quickly. But before we even played a round of hearts, she'd say, "You're going to play the Queen of Spades in the first round, aren't you, Eric?" And yeah, I inevitably would, until the house rules tightened up, and then I'd have to wait till the second round. But yeah, that was my go-to strategy. And she figured it out like that. And of course, she was the one to suggest maybe I start to think about other strategies, because I was getting kind of boring. So yeah, I have nothing but great memories to think about when I reflect on Aunt Chris.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty bold strategy too. Did it work?
Oh, it always made for a lively game. I went down in flames half the time, but it was always fun. So,
Someone always got 13 points.
it worked in terms of generating fun. I'll say that.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
Hi, my name is Connie Catlin, and I'm here because I'm a very good friend of Gay Camps, who most of you know just recently passed away. And Gay and Chris, I guess I would say, were sisters-in-law. They were both married to brothers. So Gay was married to Denny, and Denny was Dave's brother. I guess I want to say on Gay's behalf that she loved Chris. Now I'm getting emotional because Gay's gone. Anyway, I just want to say that Gay talked a lot about Chris and how much Chris meant to her and how much she loved Chris. And I know they traveled together and they had a great time together, growing up and being married to brothers. And I got to meet Chris once at Jen's Celebration of Life service, and I liked her immediately. And I wish I could have gotten to know her better. And I feel like I've gotten to know her better by listening to all of you. So thank you for inviting me. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you, Connie. I might add on to that. So Annie Gay did call me shortly after mom's passing, and we had a very nice conversation. Auntie Gay had nothing but nice things to say about mom, and we also had a nice chance to catch up, which was great because I hadn't talked to her in probably about 2 years. But yeah, I think, Auntie Gay and my mom are very close, and Auntie Gay herself will be very missed as well. She was a very kind person. And I really appreciate everything she did for mom and everything she did for me and everyone else. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing memories as well.
So I was going to show our needlepoint too. I think it looks backwards.
We all have them, huh?
And Ruth, I think you have one. Vicky has one. And
Yeah.
she gave it to us when we got married. It's a little 1981 in there.
Charlie and I
Bruce
each
went to
have
get
one.
her.
We each took one.
Yeah.
Sounds
She's
like
so
Ruth.
talented.
Yeah, Ruth's going to get hers, it looks like.
We have our Christmas stockings too.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
What was that, Maria?
I said we have those
77.
Christmas stockings that she made.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Beautiful.
With a little elf sitting
Yeah.
on a box?
I think it might need it was a little low, but yeah, that was very pretty. Yeah, and Maria was saying mom also made a point to make stockings for everyone in the family, and we have the ones that she made for us, and she made one for Maria. So I think needlework and stuff like that was another way that she liked to spread her love.
My daughter Ellie has recently taken on sewing. I brought back the old Singer sewing machine from my mom's house, and we just use it as a table. And we just got her a brother sewing machine. So she's been, at work making a lot of things. So I think it's really cool that she can carry on that legacy that I obviously, didn't with my mom. So.
I think I actually did the same at your age, Ellie. I was really into sewing and crocheting.
Excuse me.
Yep, you're on.
So this is a really big one that she did about Iceland. It's got the two national costumes. and this and the map of Iceland with all the main places on it.
Wow.
So
Yeah, it looks really intricate.
yeah, and I have another one upstairs, but it's also Icelandic. So Icelandic strong, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that every time this memorial and the last memorial, people have said that Chris would talk to them as an adult when they were young. And I just think that that's a legacy of our parents. And I think it was my grandfather, Armin. They were everybody's very equal, very straightforward. And I think that goes all the way back to Iceland. Because when I was living in Iceland, it was obvious to me that people there would talk to each other. And they do go by first names there. They don't go by, you're introduced by your first name and your last name. And so as a legacy, I think Chris fulfilled or, lived that legacy of just talking to people who they were and meeting them as they were and not having any pretense. And I think that that's pretty obvious to everybody on this call that we're all like that. So I just want to say, I'm into origins of things. And I think that's one of the origins of the way we deal with each other. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I just want to share one thing. So she's like Kristen and everyone else, she's been encouraging us to reach for the best. I've recently switching careers into fashion design, and I took a class where we wrote a story to motivate us to design. And my story was about a young woman who had 3 aunts who showed her how to save the world, basically. And it's based off of my 3 aunts and the Thor sisters and our family's legacy, basically. And I'd be happy to share that with anyone down the line. But the project that I was working on is dedicated to her. There's a lot of star symbology. And the background story behind this family is that they were Northern people who traveled, but these were the descendants of the people who traveled from the north to the south. And always to just be the best and, learn from your ancestors and, go your own way as well and be the light. And I think she was that light. She was that star, and she is that star. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. This is probably the point where we get these long, awkward pauses, but to me, it's important to kind of give people a little bit of time to gather up some courage if they still want to speak. So long pauses are all right.
I just thought of adding something to what you were saying, Vicki, about grandparents. I guess you were meaning Grandpa Mindy Goodmanson?
Well, I was actually talking about Thorderson.
Ah, okay. Because what I was
Same thing. Yeah, the whole family, everybody was just treated, nobody was talked down to.
Yes. I was going to say that Grandpa Mindy Goodmanson passed away when I was about 7 years old. And probably sometime before that, I had a little autograph book. And when he wrote in my autograph book, of course, it wasn't anything like silly or trivial or, funny little rhymes. It was the Serenity Prayer. So I remember that was, really struck me as very interesting and meaningful. And, it's really stuck with me ever since.
He wrote that in my autograph book too.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Guess he knew I needed it.
I think it's great to see and meet the other nieces and nephews. It's an honor, actually. Like, we've heard about you growing up, but we've never actually met you. So like Kristen and Gretchen, and it's really nice to meet you.
You too.
Okay, go ahead.
So my name's Ellie Leonard. I'm her granddaughter, and when I was little, we went to the antique store a lot, and we got things like this bunny and a little container. And I didn't see her in like 2 years, so a month ago we saw her, and we always went to the toy shop and stuff together, and it was always so fun.
Thank you, Ellie.
Great job. And you know what's interesting about that store where she took Ellie? It's a little like a resale store near me. And I didn't realize this, but all the proceeds benefit hospice. And just seeing the wonderful work that hospice did, and we would not have made it through that weekend with her without them. So just thinking back, it's pretty amazing, like just that connection.
Thor, were you trying to say something?
I wanted to say hi to Scott. Scott, I remember when you came up to Winnipeg, we spent, I think a weekend we did a road trip up to Arbor, found some old family connections. And I still drink Rika vodka thanks to you. So thank you, bud.
It's good to see you, Thor.
Yeah.
We had a cousins reunion and there was at least one bottle of Reka consumed. Possibly two.
Just to let you know, the Masonic fraternity, both Larry and I are Masons. Your cousin Larry was a Grand Master for the Masonic fraternity here in Manitoba. So we have a long lineage going back. Great to see that you're part of it.
Rooter was a Scottish Rite Mason in the San Jose Lodge. I don't know if anybody's aware of that.
Okay.
Ruth, that's great because both Larry and I are part of the Scottish Rite here in Winnipeg as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you knew this, but Grandpa Goodmanson, in the year 2010, I was the Grand Master of Masons in Manitoba, and I went to Flin Flon, where I was born in 1951. And I'd been invited up there by the guys in the local lodge. And I was in the lodge room, taking a look at all the pictures on the lodge wall. And looking back at me was a picture of Grandpa Goodmanson. He was a member of the Odd Fellows degree team, and he was a member of the Flin Flon Lodge. And Grandpa had a ring made that symbolized his participation as a Mason and as an Odd Fellow that he gave to Dad. Dad wore that every day of his life. And when Dad died, Mom gave that ring to me. So it's been in the family for more than 80 years. And so Masonry has played an important part in our lives, certainly for Grandpa, for my father, to Thor and I, continuing the tradition and the values that Freemasonry has presented to us. To the points that have already been made about sadly Chrissy's passing has brought us all together again. And I think we touched on this in the first memorial service, but as I said, I've still got my hand up to take the lead in trying to plan another gathering when COVID is behind us. And Bob, and I'm sure would be more than happy to host us all again. An opportunity.
There we are, thumbs up from Conconi and Penderarmon. I'm going to take that as a yes.
So an opportunity to see you all again and hug. Icelanders are huggers, and they know I got. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's something we haven't been able to do for almost a year, and it'd be nice to see everybody face to face.
Yeah.
But this has been a good introduction under very tragic circumstances in which to see one another again.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us be with you all.
Here, time is marching on.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Larry. I definitely agree with that.
I have a question. I don't know how many of you know this, but the 4 Thor girls were all Rh negative. Are any of you negative, are negative blood types?
I'm
Yeah.
Christy is.
Yeah,
Christy
but
Nelson.
among the cousins that are on my generational level.
Larry.
Larry? Yeah.
I've known him for 30 years.
No, it's just very unusual that all 4 of us were.
Yeah.
So, and it never was an issue until we had children.
Who has got blood type B? Do we know?
What?
Are many of you type B as in boy? We are all, I think we are all B negative in the Thor family.
Yeah, we are.
I'm not being negative as
So
well.
that means from what I've done when I've read, that means that both parents had to be negative. So it just sort of was coming out of the blue. So now that we've got this opportunity to ask. But very few of the descendants, Christy is. That might
Something to share with most of you. The last reunion I attended, as I recall, the Manitoba contingent brought something to the reunion for everybody to enjoy, and that was Friznock. Bonnie, I think I remember you being the organizer of the Friznock tournament on my behalf. You're going to have to bring that back and do it all over again. I think we had a flow chart of all the teams and so on and so forth.
Oh, sweet. That's all gone.
When the Thor cousins got together at Pismo Beach a couple of years ago, we played Friznock on the beach, and Scott actually has taught many of his friends to play it on the beach.
It's a fun game, yeah.
Friznock lives on, absolutely.
I plan to play Friznock today.
Oh!
Yeah.
We should also get several hundred games of Mafia in as well if we get a chance. Like, I think we played probably 30 hours of Mafia that one reunion. I was burned out for 15 years.
That's good.
Hello, everybody. I apologize for being late. The day got away on me here, but I'm glad to see some are still on. I got Chris.
Bill.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining.
Hi, Bill.
Good timing, Bill. It's your turn.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Bill.
So is everybody cold where they are? Or are they warm?
Yeah, Southern California is pretty warm. We're very lucky on that.
Okay. Start
hiding out
The
from
Bay Area is not. It's cold and clear in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Sunny and warm in Winnipeg, Bill.
Okay, I believe that.
Coming out of a deep freeze.
We had about a little more than a foot here where I am in Oregon.
Wow.
So, and we had the ice rain where our trees froze, looked like icicles. But now we're on the melting part, so we're back to normal.
Has finally thawed.
Yeah, Texas has been buck wild apparently.
Snow is just about gone here. A few patches. We had about over a foot at one time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Not typically Victoria.
Yeah, it's been a crazy winter. I think we're somewhat close to the end, Bill. I don't know if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
no, that's fair. And I do apologize.
Oh no, it's
my morning got away on me and I said, oh darn, it's Chris's,
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, don't worry about it. I was just saying that most people have shared. So if you do want to share, we are probably close to the end. But obviously, no pressure. I was just letting you know where we were in the process. So
yeah. No, probably just my thoughts, of course, are with you all, and we all have our challenges. But my earliest memories of Chris go back to here in Victoria, even. So it was yeah, a life well lived. Amazing woman.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Margaret, Maria. Yeah, see, everybody's, yeah, I can see everybody's quiet, and please don't. Something we've been doing here, and I was thinking of you, Jimmy. We've been going through all the collected pictures we have of family, many going back to the Peterson, Arneson, Goodmanson kind of side of things, seeing pictures I haven't seen in 20 and 30 years. So as we make decisions, what do we do with all these pictures? We got to find a way to pay them forward. So I'm not sure if anybody's out there actively researching family trees right now. We're looking to put together a collection, or I could send you what we have that we're not using here and let people have a chance to review them. But I know, Jim, your mom's, so found her stuff yesterday with some of the stuff she used to photocopy, and Ellie put it all into a big 3-ring binder. And yeah, so that part's been kind of interesting time to reflect on family.
Bill, do I not recall that at one of the last reunions, we started a big ancestry flowchart and we had it up in
Yeah, and we have that here. We've been sort of consulting it, and it was on big sheets of brown paper, and everybody sort of wrote their thing in. Yeah, so that's all been captured.
Perfect.
And I'm not sure where it came from, but I know in the documents we found that would have come from Mom and then from Margaret, I guess, was a lot of work had been put into the family tree and how it all fit together, and it sort of runs out about 2004 or 5, but that's all been documented, so that's been good. So Annalise, hey, wow, neat.
Hmm? Hi, Bill. It's wonderful to see you.
Goes on the wall.
You're offering us drinks.
Jim, it's nice to see you. I just saw you there. Oh, you've got no audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can.
Here we go.
Hello.
Hi.
You know what? I've been flipping back and forth. I just spotted you. You've aged.
You should see how
I
I
saw
feel,
you.
buddy.
But Jim, last time I saw you, I think
Blonde
you were
all over
14.
again.
Don't look now, guys. Yeah.
You were 14. I mean, come on, he was 14. Superman. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you guys. And as for pictures, I made it a project to digitize all the family pictures that I have. And I'm happy to share with everybody. I think on Facebook they have albums where you can put pictures, so I'll look into that, because I mean, as sad as we all are here now, it's lovely to see cousins again, and I'm particularly impressed with the generation that's coming up after us. All you guys have raised great families and great kids, and I'm just thrilled to see.
Thank you, Jim. Your picture collections are amazing. Thank you so much. It's a lot of work, and it's really appreciated.
Yeah, labor of love.
Yeah, some great pictures this morning on Facebook, Jimmy, with the Thor girls and the Goodmanson clan. I mean, I think we were all a little bit younger back then, but great memories of the reunions back when they were on Brentwood Bay at Grandma and Grandpa's and Uncle Larry and Auntie Gil's. Yeah.
My dad, I remember my dad holiday plans. It wasn't that he wanted to go anywhere else but out to the West Coast and family. That was his holiday plan, and that was important to him. And it became really important to all of us because we had no cousins in Winnipeg. So we would go visit Margaret the Allards. Your family were our surrogate cousins. in Headingley, and they always welcomed us for dinners. But going out to the coast, yeah, every summer was really special.
Yeah.
Lots of great memories. So we thoroughly enjoy the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, Chris, I remember your dad and mom and you guys all arriving in a station wagon to Tana Road. And I was so impressed how many got out of that station wagon. And you had been all the way from Winnipeg. And that, I've never forgotten that. And it just felt like there was a dozen, but there's really not. Yeah. And yeah.
That was the white 63 Ford Fairlane where you could actually sit in the back and look out the back window, and it was good, you know. I don't think we had seat belts back then.
No.
Oh, no.
A little example of how things can sort of go full circle. We had some contractors in here last week to do a little bit of de-limbing on some big trees to the west of our house here because the big windstorm is coming up now. We want something coming down on top of somebody's house. So anyway, I was just standing by this tree that's now, you couldn't put your arms around it. And then I, going through the pictures last night with Ellie, there's a picture of Bunny and I standing beside a little tree about 3 feet tall.
Oh,
and
really?
the background is the Peterson's house up on the hill behind us. And so that same tree is now 100 some odd feet tall and
Oh
3 feet
my.
diameter, and you know, it's a major tree. So you think about the life cycle of a tree and the life cycle of a human, and it kind of all came together kind of in your thinking.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Yeah.
I think I'm going to be signing off now, and I'm just going to thank you all. I enjoyed this so much. It's so good to catch up with some of you. Have a good day. Okay, I'll be thinking of
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining. It sounds like I think most people here had a chance to share. Does anyone else have a chance to share? Or does anyone else want to share that hasn't?
I was just going to jump in to just mention about, while we're looking for a really good place to be able to share photos, that, right now we have the private Facebook family group called Goodmanson Arneson Group. And, we've been posting a lot of pictures there. So what we probably might want to do, as an interim anyway, if anybody wants to, take a copy of those posted pictures. It's pretty easy to do. Usually just like right click and then you can save it to your own computer. And, you can search the site for names and, come up with, more pictures. I think we can even add to some of those pictures by putting the, not necessarily maybe tagging the photos, but putting names so you can search it and find family members. So, and there's often lots of really fun little conversations that happen between cousins there. So you go have a look there, you can find lots of, witticisms from Karen Hopkins and one of our cousins, stuff like that.
So Margaret, has there been any consideration of something like Google Drive? The shared access to the family?
Google Photos is a thing. They have a pretty good photo specific implementation as well. It doesn't allow you to do documents as easily, but that is a good thing for everyone who has, a Google account. We do have some Google Drive. I'm sorry. I was saying we do have some Google photo albums of Mom that we can share after I think we've been populating those.
That'd be awesome, Charles.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Diana because I think she has most of them, but I have some as well. But I'll talk to Diana and we can get those shared.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This was really lovely. You guys did a great job. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you all for joining. And you guys are the ones that make it lovely. Everyone that came.
Yeah, thank you for coming. She loved all of you, and thank you.
Yeah. So I'll send out.
Bye, everybody.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah, I'll send out this recorded video and the slideshow, and then I still need to do that for the last one for those of you that were present in that one as well. So yeah, thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Same here.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Love y'all.
So
Love
nice
you
to see
all.
everyone.
Love you all very much.